In this video I'm going to speak about Baudrillard's theory of the object value system. It's loosely associated with the Marxism theory, but rather than being about production, it's more about consumption being the main drive in capitalist society. Baudrillard argued that our needs are constructed rather than innate. He stressed that all purchases signify something socially. They say something about their users. This for him was why consumption was way more important than production. Baudrillard wrote that there are 4 ways of object obtaining value. He said that the first stage is the functional value of the object. Its instrumental purpose, such as this video camera is recording and that's its purpose, or a pen writes, for example. This pen is so practical. The second stage of object obtaining value is economic value. For example, 3 pens for £1, or if you buy a Parker pen, it might cost £100. It's the value of the object.
£2, please. Here you go.
Thank you. £3,000. Here I am at a jewellery shop in Lewisham, and I've just noticed advertising. It says, "Make her heart race," and there's a video there, video advertising in the window, visibly brighter. I think it's funny how they're using these messages to add sentimental value to the consumption. Way of object attaining value is the symbolic value to the object. The value which the object assigns to a relation to another subject, such as a diamond ring can be the symbol of love, it can be a wedding ring, or one of those keys you get on your 18th birthday signifies the rites of passage in your life. So, speaking of symbolic value, let's take for instance this lovely little line that I built today. Okay, so what does this mean to me personally? It probably means a completely different thing to you, but this line represents courage to me, Wizard of Oz. It represents my childhood, Wizard of Oz, but it means to me coming to Goldsmiths and being brave and having the courage to be myself. The last way of object attaining value is the sign value of the object. Its value is within a system of objects. Whilst having no extra benefit, it may signify something such as taste or class. Would this be me? Baudrillard also believes that we're being sucked away by a system of images. I mean, think about, okay, this might sound extreme, but just think about how we are continuously being bombarded by advertisements and images from like newspapers and the internet and magazines and yeah, especially the internet. Just think about Facebook, constant advertisements now. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by advertisements and all these shops and all these bright lights trying to lure me into places, like this for instance. I mean, really, think about how advertisements influence our day-to-day life. They do. I mean, think of how McDonald's now shows your life story in just a couple of minutes, and they tell you that if you buy a Happy Meal, it's going to make you happy, but does it?
That kills it.
I've just been sitting here in Costa having a coffee, and I've just realised there's a big portrait of the scenery of Italy on the wall, and there's also Italian furniture everywhere, very strong Italian colours, and I think this just goes to show how shops can shape their own identity. The objects inside the shop reflect what the shop hopes to achieve and what it stands for, a bit like a container of objects, and I can even see here that there's pictures of Italian people on the wall. However, there's no Italian style
art actually working here. And there's actually a picture of a fresh basket of bread on the wall to make you think it's very fresh yet, but the food is actually processed, so it depicts the wrong image of what the shop actually does.
What you want to do with it, if it's like a hobby and a release or an work.
So interesting how people become products themselves. I mean, when you think about music artists, for example, let's say Madonna, and I know if Nadia's in the audience, she's going to hate me for saying this because she's a big Madonna fan, but we could say that she's on the curve of postmodernity. She's not particularly the best singer in the world, and she's not exactly the sex symbol of today. However, she is still very popular, and why? Because people find her popular. She's always been popular, and she feeds off that popularity. Like objects, Baudrillard also believed there was an evolution of colours, interestingly. First of all, he believed they actually had no independent value. It was us on the outside that attached meaning to the colours. We gave them a value. He suggests that they become like rhythms, like hot or cold, and for example, we think of pink as feminine and blue as masculine. For example, my wallet right here, I mean, it's a lovely shade of red, isn't it? And it's turquoise on the inside. I mean, why did I choose this wallet? I'm exploiting colour, right? I'm using it to show individuality, I'm using it to be different. I've attached my own meaning to this wallet because of the colour. As well, when you think about when we decorate our homes, like what colours we use, they express who we are. We're the pioneers, we're designers, we're using colours to elaborate ourselves. When you decorate your bathroom, you're probably likely to do it white because it shows cleanliness and purity. You can see here we have a normal block of flats, very standard, but as you can see they've used colours here to make it more interesting, more funky and more playful. Just think about why they've done this. It's just a normal block of flats, but they've done it to make it more interesting and to make you think it's different, but really it's not. Baudrillard also believed that materials have evolutionized in a sense, because if you think, for example, a plastic toy, well, kids used to play with wooden toys, and I actually have a quote here from Baudrillard himself regarding wood. It says, "Wood draws its substance from the earth. It lives, it breathes, it works, it has a latent warmth, it keeps time in its fibres. It is the ideal container. Wood has its own odour. It ages, and it even has parasites. In brief, the material has being." Oh, what Baudrillard is trying to say is that we no longer have presence or quality material, it's more about value. And I think that glass actually fits in this new object system, because when you think about it, it's without odour, it has no colour, it's unliving, it's undying, very postmodern. It communicates, yet it refuses communication. It's transparent, but it blocks a passage. Think about shop windows, they allow vision, but they prohibit touch. I have to warn you that there is no systematic ways to speak about Baudrillard, because these things are not systematic. These are shifting contingent ways in which cultures change, and the people that draw their meanings from them change as the cultures change. So all I can do is pinpoint particular phenomenons, but there's no way of saying how it actually is. So just to conclude, I have a question for you. When you wake up in the morning and you put on your clothes and you do your hair, do you do it for yourself or do you do it for the people around you?